Hello and welcome to SOLIDWORKS Live Design. My name is Sean O'Neill, and I'm joined by an elite application engineer, Dino Pečenjev. How about that? How was that? Good
That was
pronunciation?
excellent, actually. It's great pronunciation. You got it
Awesome.
correct.
Dude, we're so happy to have you on this show. We're so happy to be with all of you today in the YouTube chat. Unlock SOLIDWORKS knowledge. So we were just talking about this. The premise of the episode today is to give three live takes, three hot takes, essentially to give you three views of controversial opinions, statements not so widely known or maybe even agreed upon statements that Dino believes to be true that Dino is going to defend today. Dino, are you up to the challenge? Are you up to the challenge of defending your three live takes for today?
I guess I am. If not now, when? Then when?
So let me underscore though. Let me underscore the privilege that it is today. You are an elite application engineer. Application engineers are some of the most knowledgeable, most well-versed technical community members in the entire SolidWorks environment. You have trained people, you've done so many technical support cases, sure implementations, so many different things. So yeah, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your background, because you are like seriously in the not even the top 1%. It's like the top 0.00001% of users. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Sean. But I believe that I still have a lot of to learn, honestly. So my
Well,
name is Dino
hey, let me
Pečenjev.
just say that's I mean that's
So,
let us know in the chat honestly what you guys think, but that's what we like to hear. Like anyone who is a lifelong learner, that's why you get to that 0.0001%, right?
yeah. So my name is Dino Pečenjev. So I'm coming from a small country, Croatia. I'm living in Bjelovar. I work as a value-added reseller, as application engineer, Strojotehnika. So my journey with the company began basically while I was finishing my college. So I started the late February 2020, so just before pre-COVID, and then it just roll out. I finished college. I got my CSVE certification. I got the job. I just continued working. So after that, yeah, I was pursuing Elite AE, which is actually thanks to my boss now because I saw it. He has it, so like, why not? Well, let's go up to the challenge. And yeah, from then joined the SolidWorks Champion program. So I'm really humbled to be there as well. So hi to everyone. I mean, I should say hi to so many people, but hi everyone, and thank you for joining.
All right. So once again, if you're looking to unlock SolidWorks knowledge in the year 2026, here are the three ways that you are probably not thinking of. Okay. That is what the focus of this episode is today. All right. So Dino, we're going to go through live take number one, live take number two, live take number three, the hot take, right? The sort of potentially controversial, not so well known idea of how to unlock hidden SolidWorks knowledge in 2026. And what I will say is that we talked about this up before. I'll challenge you. The audience might challenge you in terms of, is that really true? Or how can I believe this? Or what about this? What about that? I will challenge you. Okay. So
All right.
let's get at it. Okay.
Good.
Let's go through the demo here. Okay.
Okay.
So what's our first take today?
So first take of the day is some of the best SolidWorks knowledge is hiding in the documents most users never read.
Some of
That's
the
my
best
opinion.
the best SolidWorks knowledge is hiding in documents most users never read. How could that possibly be true?
Well, what things are best hidden? Those are that are just right in front of your nose. I mean, this knowledge we're gonna talk about them and specifically solid practices. It's basically documents that it's like best practices. Someone tested it and got information right to you. Some of them before was locked. We're gonna talk about it now. For quite some time, actually, it's available to everyone on public forum. So I don't know. I seen through support cases that not many people know about that.
let's get into it, man. I'm excited. Let's see how you plan on defending yourself here.
Okay, so we got three sources of information. So first is knowledge base. So there are a few levels of visibility. And if you make a free account for this episode, I made free account just to check what can I see, because I have a lot more unlocked. And it's insane. It's hundreds, and on some topics, even thousands of support knowledge, questions and answers, basically on tip of your fingers. It's like a Google, but specifically tied to SolidWorks.
So this is a knowledge base on solidworks.com, right?
Yep, it's actually 3DS now, knowledge base.
Okay, so I'm sure you'll show us how to get to this at some point during today's episode. But
this will be on the third take. So regarding my SolidWorks, now everybody knows that there are certification preparation materials. I even while I was working on my certification, I even go through these. But what's also here besides tutorials and everything, if you go to the support section and documentation, there are also solid practices documents even there. So some of them are locked behind subscription, and a lot of those are actually available on the third thing, which is called forum, which we all allow, and you can access it either on browser or through SolidWorks directly. So here it's plenty of information, and I don't know. I know you talked about in previous episodes about AI and everything, but I don't know how many people know that you actually got Aura as AI on the public forum, that you can use the Google to filter out the source of the information and get direct links to them. So these are the three ones. So what specific behind solid practices? So when I was starting my journey as application engineer, this one is interesting. So whenever I could get hands-on solid practices, I would go through them because they are actually very logically set up. They hold numerous amount of information. So basically, if you ever wonder how something works, or maybe what would be good practice that someone tested, well, it's right here on the public forum. So it's in community SolidWorks news and info. And if you go to the wiki, there's like SolidWorks learning resources. And then you have like, besides videos and tutorials, getting started with SolidWorks and 3D experience, but you have solid practices.
so
And
let's check the chat real quick. I mean, you guys who are in the YouTube chat, who are watching live, I know you might be watching on a rewatch, but let me know in the comments if so. But if you're in the live chat, tell us, like, have you heard of solid practices? Have you used them before? Did you know how to access them? You can see they're located in the 3D Swim best practices guides for SolidWorks products that are made by the team here at SolidWorks. And this cuts across all different areas of usage, right? Like, this is not just like installation guides, right? Like, this is almost everything.
exactly. And what's the best thing is, it's not like it will say like everything is 3D experience. No, it's also about the products you use, either like just regular SolidWorks without anything, PDM, simulation, everything is basically here. And what I also find out, so when here I gone with the Aura on the forum. So while I was searching, so here as sources, you can see can get direct filtered information that's also available from any SolidWorks source. So if I ask like to get any best practices documentation or knowledge base, I can get them. So here already as a source, there are, let's say, attribute mapping. You want to maybe see the 3D experience. In 3D experience, you want to see the custom properties. You got the how to get it. Also, for the knowledge base, how to get it. Also, some key practices, which is also interesting, because some solid practices are also hidden in the knowledge base. as well. So it's not only on the forum. So all sources of information I showed. So forum, my SolidWorks, the knowledge base, they all contain it. And here, if I go to view sources, you can get even questions, even topics, posts, anything. So, and if I ask if there are any solid practices documentation, I can even get that information from Aura. So this is directly filtered out. I mean, we're gonna talk about a little bit about AI in the next topic, but here, what it is solid practices. So here you get a direct answer, and I agree with those. So there are also fundamentals, design, simulation, 3D experience, many things. So
Yeah, I see it citing even like a routing example. So these are, I mean, to give you some support on this take that you have here, you know, that some of the most helpful SolidWorks knowledge, right, is maybe trapped inside of documents that many users never read. This there are some topics we've talked about, you and I, that
yeah,
are well covered, let's say on YouTube, where we are now, right? And maybe not covered by SolidWorks, but are covered by a partner such as yourself, or covered by a YouTuber, for example, right? But some topics still today remain not so covered well enough. Or you might be watching a given piece of content thinking, is this the proper protocol? Should I be doing it this way? Especially when it comes to something like routing, which can be complex, can be a bit hard to understand maybe at first, like if you're doing piping or tubing. And so having solid practices where you have the team at SolidWorks, there's a review log, there's PDF sort of based guidance, wiki-based guidance to show you the best ways to go about routing or setting up a PDM server, whatever it is really helpful, and that's valuable to everyone, right?
yeah. I mean, here are even information from which I learned. It's not big deal how to say because I joined late. I wasn't with the SolidWorks from the start. I was just a little baby, back then in '95. So this was a lifesaver in many situations, and I believe it can be a lifesaver to many other people, either if it's something like basic questions, intermediate or advanced. I mean, any kind of topic, it can be here. Also, I want to mention one thing here, that at the end of every solid practice here on the forum that you read, there's interesting thing. You can like it, you can comment. If you disagree with something, you should comment. I mean, people here at SolidWorks, I noticed they take a look at this. There's a lot of effort in these solid practices, and as well with that, there's also a survey form. So if there is something, if there is a topic that is not included, you can ask for it. I mean, why not? And that's why I noticed, like, yeah, not many people actually go with this. So it's quite interesting.
I'm gonna check the chat here. I wanted to mention as we are on our first live take here that you can see on the ticker currently. I see James just showed this comment just a moment ago. I've used it, but not as much as I should. So for a lot of people, like James, maybe this is a helpful reminder to check in on some additional areas. I see Deepak here. Solid practices docs are good, great, awesome. See
Thank
a
you,
bunch of
Deepak,
people.
James.
Yeah, see a bunch of people jumping in. I see. Jeff, I was a baby back in '95. Sure, go ahead and make me feel ancient.
I apologize. I really apologize.
Awesome. So let us know in the chat. Did Dino convince you that some of the best SolidWorks knowledge is hiding inside of documents that many users, most users, never read? Tell us. Tell us in the chat. We will we'll be sure to circle back as we go. But I think, are we ready for live take number 2 that you're ready to defend, Dino? Are we ready?
Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. So your next SolidWorks mentor might be AI. So regarding this, of course, you presented already Aura, Leo, and Marie. And what's interesting here, I found only one downside regarding Aura, and it doesn't speak Croatian. That's the only downside. But if you ask for an answer, you will get it. Since I work with support cases and due to the experience with them, I don't need like too much of AI because I don't design too much. I'm with this regarding that, but a lot of information can be filtered with this. For example, if I want to get a lot of sources of information, if I want to send to a customer or to a friend, like I will just filter it here, get the links, and drop them in the email and explain which one to focus on. So yeah, that's my thing. But regarding this, what's actually, I don't know if many people know, but you can access, so this is inside SolidWorks. So there's Ask Aura. So you can basically search this without leaving SolidWorks. So let's say we want to know how to add custom properties. And if we write the prompt, so it's using the 3D Swimmer because that's on the forum. So let's say, how can I add custom properties to, let's say, part assembly drawing, and also include configuration specific. So let's see what we will get. So with this, I mean, there are also solid practices regarding this. There's a lot of on forums. You can find answers basically anywhere, but you can also get filtered out information. What can you do? I mean, you can really deep dive into this. It's not basically everything, but yeah, even with automatization with the APIs is here, key consideration. And again, the sources, there are a lot of sources here. Some of these will include also the solid practices. And also, if I want to see demystify like the 3D experience easily, you can also ask Aura, you will get the answer. It's not like that all that information is mystically hidden. It's right in front of you. So regarding AI, for me, it's getting the sources of information I can use. So I'm not focusing here on the AI labs and the Leo as a co-pilot, but rather just let's get the information we need. So that's my take on the because if we use the other LLMs, so large language models like ChatGPT and other, let's say Claude. Okay, Claude will help you, do the coding if you're not into programming like me. ChatGPT is just general, but these are the sources of information that's tied directly to SolidWorks. That's the key stuff. So I don't know how many people know that even with the forum you can use the AI that's already built in there.
And this was added back in, you might like, I always look whenever I see somebody using SolidWorks Design like you are. I always look in the bottom left corner and I try to see which version are they using, because you can see in the status bar, right? It says SolidWorks Design Premium 2026 SP 1.0 or FD 1.0. So you might be thinking, if this is new, maybe I haven't heard about it. It's brand new. I have to be using 2026 FD1. No, not necessarily, right? Like this was included like 2025. We started adding it right in the interface.
Yep, exactly. And soon after, not much time did it pass, and the Aura also became available on the forum. So yeah, it's free. You just need a free 3D Experience ID. If you already have access to the forum, you have access to the Aura, and even inside SolidWorks. So yeah, it's already here. So here, if you're on the task pane, if you look at the right side, so Beneath the forum, the last icon is AI Labs that you were exploring the last episode. So yeah, with AI, you can get a lot of information that you don't necessarily need to like manually Google. How can I do this? You can just get, even if there's a question on the forum, it will get filtered down, like if someone asked already. So that's pretty nice thing as well.
So why would you use this, like, just to press against this take? Like, why would you use this versus something else? Like, why would you use this versus like Google search or just going to the forums or something like that? Like, why is my next SolidWorks mentor AI?
So let's say you Google something, then you have to like put SolidWorks help this specific topic, and then you get some version, then you have to filter down the other version. Since there were changes between the versions, then you have to filter down again and searching and scrolling. And this is just straight direct. And what I like here, because when you work inside SolidWorks, this is right next to you. You can do your design, just Google it, the prompt will go. And while it finishes, you can check the answer. So that's one thing. And if you go to the SolidWorks help website, which is tremendous, it's really huge. And there, if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll get lost at some point. So here you can just get basically shortcuts to there. So that's my point, because it's already integrated with SolidWorks. Not just with 3D Experience SolidWorks, but with the desktop one we allow. It's here and it's available to everyone.
I think if I were to go as well, like in support of what you're saying, like you're also making a sort of tab of things that you're interested in learning about. You know, like if you Google something, you can add it to favorites, you can bookmark things, right? If we search things, we can do, as far as websites, right? We can just add them to a tab, whatever we do to make sure that we can revisit things, add it to a note, however we're note taking, that kind of thing. But in this sense, we do have a conversational history. And like a lot of other LLMs, for example, if we talk about ChatGPT or Claude or others, we have a conversational history. However, the reason, even if you, let's say you're like, okay, I might buy this take, like I might think that, okay, my next SolidWorks mentor might be AI. That might already be true for me. Maybe I'm in the minority right now. I'm asking my AI system a lot of SolidWorks questions. Well, what else are you asking your AI system? Because if you look at my license, for example, of ChatGPT, I'm asking it so many different types of questions. I'm asking it about growing grass. I'm asking it about psychology topics. I'm asking it about different ways to do things in this software, that software, in SolidWorks, etc. So having like a dedicated area, like you mentioned, it's just picking from the SolidWorks published topics here, and it's then serving it to the SolidWorks property topics, and then it's actually serving it to you with sources, which is good to see up front. But you have that sort of very clean look at SolidWorks only topics right there. So you can always revisit it if you wanted to revisit a response to something, and areas that you've been interested in are just sitting there. So I think that's pretty nice too.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's just you have everything filtered out, and it doesn't get like, where is this information coming from? So I'm just wondering, how are people using Aura on the forum, or they even know if it exists on the forum? I'm curious about that, honestly. Or
Yeah.
even, did someone thought about using the AI on the forum through SolidWorks even?
Did
I'm
you?
curious
Yeah,
about it.
it's a great question. In the comments, let us know in the comments of the video, or if you're watching it live in the chat, best opportunity, right? Like, did you know that you could access Aura, an LLM, through inside of SolidWorks with many versions of 2025 and then 2026, of course, as well? Have you tried it? What have been your results? Let us know. So, do you, and let us know as well, do you buy what Dino is saying here, that your next SolidWorks mentor might be AI? Do you buy it? Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. Feel free to argue against Dino or argue against us. I think that would be quite exciting. So, but so far, a lot of support so far in the chat for you, Dino. So
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
But yeah, we are just a reminder as well. We're checking the chat. So let's get to, I think, are you ready for live take number 3?
Yeah, let's dig into this one. This is also a huge one besides solid practices. So you have the engineering wisdom of thousands of support cases and you're not using it.
You're not
So,
using it. Wow, interesting. So thousands of support cases and you aren't using it and you have this. Okay, let's see how you back this up. First, I'm curious to see where am I getting this knowledge? And yeah, and we're not using it. Interesting. Okay.
and you're getting the knowledge from the knowledge base,
All
of
right, here's where
course.
knowledge base comes in. Okay, you did mention that.
So it's the access, knowledge, and dedicated content on SolidWorks product users. So here you can find either like how to do something, if you have an issue to troubleshoot something, know-how, just basic questions and answers, maybe methodology, any basically use case. So for this, I use my free account to check what's available, and it's a lot of information. So let's say I picked the topic for this templates because it's always a big topic. And one thing when you're upgrading SolidWorks, so it was a good improvement. I think it came out in 2025 where if the file locations stayed default, it will just change the version up, so it leave you less work to do. So regarding the default templates, so if you're using multi-body parts, let's say simulation, some part you want to do create DXF from the SolidWorks part sheet metal and so on. Well, you need to take care of this. So the file locations and system options, you need to set them, and it's here set to check the template locations. Go to Tools, Options, System Options, File Location, and Document Templates. So here you have the also how to get to some information and why is it important. So that's also here, and also there are keywords. But besides that, so if we dig in and go to the knowledge base. So this is with the free access. So if you register and go and search, this is what you get. So here, as you can see, just on this topic, I got 286 questions and answers. So this is for visitor. Also, there are multi-language answers, knowledge types. So let's say besides guide for users, let's go with questions and answers, and it's filtered down to 139 answers that are at the tip of your fingers. So here, whatever I'm interested in, maybe I need to filter down with some additional keywords. But basically, this is all here, for me. So this information is available to everyone. Maybe I can, let's say, take a specific link here. You can say, or let's say specific. Let's create body from the deform shape functionality. It you get the answer. So plenty of things are here available, and I noticed that not, at least from my experience, it might not, not maybe it's not true for everyone, but I noticed that many people are not looking at this. Let's say templates. So you are a long-term user, or maybe you joined a company where the old version was being used, and then you upgrade, and then you need to take care of the templates, which is a common case. But as it said that SolidWorks is constantly growing and it gets improvements, which is why you need to, take additional measures to keep it functioning. But so yeah, if I search for something and how to, let's say how can I determine if my template is old version that I'm using. So if I search, let's say, for something like that, I get an answer. So this is the answer. So I need to right click basically any plane that's predefined in the template. I can go to SolidWorks, just right click it, go properties, and here I got information. How old is my template? Simple like that. So if you ask for knowledge, you have it. It's here. It's not like it's completely hidden, you know. Also, for some support cases, I use it, or for example, there's a hotfix. Windows, for example, there was an issue where there was a Windows update that made an issue with the Windows address bar in PDM, and it was tied to the Windows 11. And here you can also find the hotfixes. So beside asking like everywhere, like why this doesn't work, where is this located, I can find it in the knowledge base. And this again is with the free access, so this is available to everyone, and it says how to install the hotfix. You can download the hotfix, so it's for everyone. So that's what am I missing if I don't use the knowledge base? If I ask myself that question, probably I'm going to spend a lot of time getting the same answer. So yeah, everything is here and it's already uh, available to us. But yeah, sadly, not many people use it from what I saw. So
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of, the take itself, the sort of topic that you're looking to defend here, and let us know if you have a take of your own, right? What's the best way to learn SOLIDWORKS topics that people don't use enough? I see some of you in the chat, thankfully, talking about different ways to learn on SOLIDWORKS topics, or the best ways in 2026 here. So yeah, but you have the engineering wisdom of thousands of support cases, and you are not using it. So you mentioned that you think you perceive or you project that maybe viewership is lower than you would think, right? So think about it. What's the eligible base? Millions of SOLIDWORKS users, and you can see that there is at least a view count on the articles. So you can see that it's, in some cases for some pretty, what would seem to be common or relevant, I should say, topics like, file template performance, making sure that there's proper hygiene on your file templates for parts and assemblies and drawings. You have like 130 views. Like that topic is not necessarily new. It's not a new topic. Like it's a topic that you should be revisiting for sure. But is it a new topic when you consider the grand scope of the eligible potential user base that could be using that knowledge? That's a pretty low relative view count, I would say. So engineering wisdom of thousands support cases. Another aspect that I think about when I read that hot take you have here that maybe people aren't thinking about, but maybe they're coming around on it thinking like, yeah, Dino has a point here, is that these are the types of questions that you might be calling into support about. And surely there are many things that you pick up from technical support calls, right? A lot of good knowledge, maybe best practices here and there, maybe even things you didn't expect to learn when you called. You learn some new things, right? I certainly encountered that. But, like talk about like a hot fix. If there's some quirky performance, you lock in the Windows after a Windows update the night before, and you're seeing something's not working quite the way you would expect, right? You can not only get some of the information about why you might be getting a new message, a new error pop up, or a warning pop up that you weren't expecting, but also in some cases, like if it's a hot fix, you can quick fix it up real quick. It's a couple hundred or a few hundred megabytes. It's a quick download, quick patch.
Even less. These ones are basically, I think they are under 5 megabytes.
Okay, so yeah, literally a couple megabytes. So yeah, so let us know in the chat, in the comments, did Dino accomplish the objective, of proving this correct? So I mean, you scratched the surface, you showed us some simulation queries, but there are, you say thousands of support cases, right? There was so much information inside this knowledge base that you can access today, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything is here. And also, if you disagree with something, you can leave the review. I mean, but yeah, if you don't leave the review, no one can know if you agree or disagree with it.
Very, very true. Cool.
And also, for the end, regarding, while we mentioned the general hotfixes, I don't know if many people know, but there's a dedicated part of the solidworks.com website And here, if you Google SOLIDWORKS general hotfixes, you can also find what specific hotfix is it for. And not necessarily all of them will be here. Some of them you can find on the knowledge base. And Deepak, thank you so much for the support, since you're also the SOLIDWORKS superhero. So thank you so much.
100%. Yeah, you just alluded to a comment. Deepak saying I always use it and find answers most of the time. Jeff here, the best way to learn about SOLIDWORKS is to talk to your VAR. They are there to add value. It's right in the name. Absolutely. We have Todd here.
Absolutely agree, because if you have a subscription, that's why we're here for.
Perfect. Got KB is the way here. Just checking in on the chat. It's great. It's our friend Jesse. This is great stuff. Knowing where to look for info is always half the battle, and using Aura to find it within those locations is even better. Perfect.
That sounds good.
Awesome. All right. Let's see. We got one more question. I think this has been partially addressed here. Please tell the best way. Like, if you were learning SOLIDWORKS today, like we're talking about hidden ways to learn SOLIDWORKS in 2026. Dino, where do you find yourself going today? Where are some areas beyond what we've talked about today?
So beyond, the software is not made of glass. So if you click something, it won't break.
That's a good. I like that. That's a good. I'm gonna keep that. The software is not made of glass. Great.
Yeah. So basically, sometimes you need to just start clicking. I mean, if you get a new phone, for example, if you switch from the from one phone to the other, you gotta learn something. And how do you learn it? You just start clicking and everything. I mean, there's a lot of YouTube material. Even on the forum, there's tutorials if you want to start. My SolidWorks also holds tutorials. If you Google SolidWorks how to specific something, you will find it. I mean, I love it how the community is great, and there are so many videos, forum threads, and everything. So if you want to start, just dive in. Just dive in and don't feel overwhelmed, because this is any software you use, the skill comes with time. So the more time you invest, the more you will get outside of it. Also, it's good that you have a lot of documentation, where some things you don't even have to spend countless of hours wondering how something works. You already have it as solid practices written down. So yeah.
Well, Dino, man, I have to say, I think you've accomplished all three of your live takes. You can check the chat, if there's any additional sort of rebuttals. And yeah, but thank you so much for all of you for jumping on. Thank you, Dino, for bringing these live takes, and furthermore, bringing this knowledge that a lot of people I don't think knew about before today. And a lot of people rewatched this after we were done the episode. But once again, Dino, thank you so much for jumping on, and thank you to all of you who were here with us today. We hope to see you soon.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Sean, for hosting me. I hope to see you again.